I genuinely believe that branding is a big deal. I believe that banner ads can be really beneficial and really helpful. If I'm watching a hockey game, you might see that I have a hockey shirt on. I have a Anaheim Ducks shirt. Um, when I go to a hockey game, I see billboards of Coca-Cola. I see billboards of McDonald's. I see billboards of Honda, the auto dealer. I see all sorts of different billboards when I go to a hockey game. Why? Like, why do I do it? I already know who McDonald's is. I already know who Coca-Cola is. Why do they do it? They do it because they want to build top of the mind awareness. They want to be in your thoughts. They don't want to be buried in your subconscious. They want to be at the top. They want to be on the surface. They want to be in your conscious memory, where if you have the urge to be, if you're develop the urge to be thirsty, you think of Coca-Cola. If you're hungry and you need to grab a snack and you're driving around, maybe you think of McDonald's. I really believe that branding can help small businesses in the same way, especially in terms of setting yourself apart. I'm a really big believer in banner ads. I'm a big believer in advertising and banner ads to build awareness. But it's one of those things where not a lot of businesses, small businesses, not a lot of them do that because it's one of those things that's super, super intangible. I could sell a search engine ad. I can say, hey, pay $100 or $500 a month for us to advertise in the search engines, and it produces a tangible product. It produces phone calls and gives people the possibility to get customers. Banner ads are a little harder to do because they're very intangible. What's the value of branding? It's pretty hard. It's hard to really pinpoint. You made this much money off of branding and banner ads, but I'm a very big believer in it. When there's so much competition online, when there's so much competition in general, the economy is tough. You want to do something to really make yourself stand apart. And when you're advertising yourself on banner ads and you're advertising yourself on prominent big name websites, you set yourself apart from your competition, because the vast majority of small businesses that are out there are not really taking advantage of banner ads in the same way the big companies are. And you might think that, oh, well, I'm not doing it because banner ads are so expensive. Banner ads are actually very inexpensive. So, if we were charging somebody $100 a month for banner ads, it's pretty typical for us to get anywhere between 50,000 to 100,000 views for that $100 on big name websites, on websites such as news websites, sports websites, newspaper websites. These are brand name sites. This is not, John's Orange Juice blog. This is not Amy's travel favorites. These are big brand name websites that people are heard of, and it's dirt cheap to advertise there. And it's not just, we're going to advertise you all across the country. It's not as if, you manufacture signs and make signs, and you're like, well, I don't want to, I have a local sign shop. I don't want to be advertising all across the country, but the banner ads can actually advertise you in the local area you're in. You could be an auto repair shop that fixes brakes, and for most auto repair shops, you want to stay within a small 10-mile radius. For some shops, even 5-mile radius, depending on where you're at. If you're in a big city, you want to stay really small within a 5-mile radius because of the amount of competition. You can literally do these banner ads within a 5-mile, 10-mile radius if you really wanted to. People in your own backyard, and those would be the only people seeing your banner ads on various websites that go on. There's a ton of value in it, but it's one of those things that's long term. If you yourself were interested in remodeling your kitchen, something on your mind, something that you want to do, but it's not something like you have this like need to do it. Like you're thinking to yourself, I'm wanting to do it sometime. I don't have to do it right now. You see a banner ad for a company that remodels kitchens, you're not like, oh man, like I gotta go do it right now. You're not like that. But it's one of those things where you see it the first time, you see it the second time, you see it the third time, and you start to notice. You might even like start to remember the name. Like you might even see the banner ad, and your subconscious will tell you, yes, you have seen that company advertised before. And after a while, maybe after a few months, after 4 or 5 months, you start to notice, and it becomes like, wow, these guys are advertising all over the place, and it makes it seem like that company is the authority, and it makes it likely that whenever you are ready to remodel your kitchen, the odds are pretty decent that you're going to click on the banner ad and finally go on the website, and it's more likely that you get business to that company because there's more trust. You've seen that company, they've advertised a bunch of places. So compared to calling a bunch of companies on Google, getting estimates scheduled out, you're going to be more likely to go with this company that you've seen advertised. So in that sense, it can be really helpful if you have the budget. It's something that we do at Custom Wave, and I really think that it's before its time. There's a lot of really cool stuff that we're able to do, but it's hard to get people to pay for it if they don't really if you don't really, I was gonna say understand the value, but it's not even that. It's really being convinced of the value. Like you can understand, like, okay, a banner ad's valuable, but are you convinced and persuaded that banner ad being shown 100,000 times to people in your area, is that really worth the $100 a month? I know nothing about tools. I know nothing about construction. If I went into Home Depot and went to go look for tools, I'm looking to fix my shower head. Like my shower head's broken and not working, so I'm going in there. If I have a bunch of people at Home Depot that are saying like, yeah, it's worth spending more money to get this sort of tool to help me fix it, I'm going to be a little skeptical because I know nothing about it. Like I'm not convinced of the value because I don't completely 100% like understand it. So instead, I'm going to be looking for the cheapest thing out there to fix my shower head, and let that be it. I'm not going to be too interested in some of the other possibilities that Home Depot might have to offer, just because I don't understand it, and because I don't understand it, it's going to be hard for me to believe in the value of that the same way that another contractor would believe that, yes, this tool is valuable because it does all these great things. So in the same way, we do all this cool stuff such as banner ads, but I really believe it's before its time because vast majority of small businesses aren't doing it. We have a few clients that are doing banner ads, which is great. I genuinely believe in the value of it, but I think that probably in the next few years we're going to be reaching a point where more and more small businesses start to do it, especially when it comes to cord cutting, and more people watching their TV not through the cable companies, not from the satellite companies like DirecTV, but watching TV through the internet. I really feel like there's going to be, not so much right now, but I think more and more in the future, banner ads are going to start to become more part of the TV viewing experience. Like somebody's at home and they might be more likely to go on YouTube, or they might be more likely to go on Netflix or Hulu, and there could be some banner ad opportunities on there with the services that are not free, such as the free version of YouTube or Hulu or whatever else is out there. So I'm for banner ads. I think there's value there, and if you have the money to spare, I definitely recommend doing it because it's going to be a worthwhile investment. If other big companies do it, no reason why it wouldn't succeed for small businesses as well.